Hey guys, so today I have a lot of awesome topics to talk about, including some CTE updates in terms of new site reticle options, which gives you the option to completely change the color and size of your actual site reticle, which is something I've been waiting for because at the moment in retail BF4 the site reticles are just way too big for my liking. I'm also going to go over some progress with the classic map survey and a possible weapon spread nerf to pretty much every weapon in the game except for the PDWs. But honestly though, I think this change is directed more at the LMGs rather than the assault rifles and the carbines, but I'll talk more about that later in the video. And I'll show you guys the start of the Christmas event in CTE that includes the C4 being renamed to Jeep stuff. So let's first talk about the site reticle options. As usual, if you go into the gameplay advanced menu and scroll down, you see some new options that allows you to change the reticle color to pretty much whatever you want. You can change the size and even how much it glows as well. And we can change the size, visibility and colors of the hipfire crosshair as well, which is pretty cool. And if you haven't noticed already, we have the proper RGB color values beside the percentage values. So if you find a color you want in MS Paint or Photoshop, you can easily just copy the RGB value and change it in the options menu to match it up. I've been playing around with these new options for a while, and for me, I found these settings gives a nice balance between still able to see your reticle in high contrast environments like, as you can see here in Operation Locker, while looking outside into the snow glare, which I know annoys a lot of people. But as we move towards the darker areas, the reticle isn't that big and clunky like how it is at the moment in retail BF4. And just to give you guys a quick comparison of how the red dot sight is currently in retail BF4, as we can see in CTE, it's so much more better. And for me, I really hate that thick red dot, but some people may like it. Also, jumping back onto CTE, like I said before, we can change the hipfire crosshair, which is something I don't really need to change. I'm pretty happy with how it is at the default settings, but if you really need to, you can change it to pink, as you can see here. If you want to mess around with the color options for the site reticles, I'll give you some examples. For the sake of you guys can easily see the colors, I've increased the reticle to its maximum size. If you want a neon blue color, like you can see here, select red 0%, green 16% and blue 100%. If you want a neon pink, then select red 84%, green 14% and blue 71%, which honestly, even though this is for a laugh, but it actually wasn't too bad. Another color combination that worked pretty well when you're inside is neon green, which is about 17% red, 100% green and 0% blue, but you could probably fine tune that to make it more green. So let's talk about some Easter eggs. In CTE, the Christmas event has started, but it doesn't seem like it's in full swing just yet. I'm sure there's going to be a few more interesting things going on, but at the moment, I noticed the C4 is called Jeep stuff, and the ammo and health bags and C4 have a Christmas themed texture to it, which is pretty awesome. But like I said, I think there's going to be a lot more Christmas surprises being discovered over the next week, so expect a video about that sometime soon. As for an update on the classic map progress, a lot of people are concerned about most people would just select Battlefield 3 maps because they haven't ever played the classic Battlefield games. Just to ease up some of that concern, David replied to a question on Twitter, "Are you able to give us any info on the results?" David replied with, "There's no real upsets if that's what you're looking for," and I'm kind of hoping that means there's an even amount of votes for the older Battlefield games as well as Battlefield 3. The way I see it, I'm really hoping if we get multiple mini DLCs, I would love to see maybe one contain maps from, let's say, Battlefield 2, another DLC will include maps from Battlefield 3, and maybe the third DLC can contain a mixed selection of maps from Bad Company 2 Vietnam, and maybe Battlefield 1942. I really hope that's how it goes down, just to make sure as many people are as happy as possible. So, nighttime maps. This is a feature a lot of people have wanted after seeing how awesome a pure nighttime map can be during the Halloween event. I think this has really sparked a lot of people into demanding at least some maps have the option to change it to nighttime, and it can be in the server rotation. Seems like David has confirmed that nighttime maps are coming. According to David, they're working on them, which is really good news. and I cannot wait. The Pure Night worked really well, like I said, during the Halloween event on Pearl Market. The very close confined nature of the map combined with not able to really see that far ahead of you gave the map a really intense feel, but I can imagine the nighttime maps won't be coming until next year. Okay, so let's talk about the LMG spread nerf. It sounds like DICE LA want to increase the maximum spread values of the LMGs and possibly the assault rifles and carbines as well. I want to thank Marble Duck for bringing this to our attention first. He made a video about it. If you want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description. But as for the maximum spread value tweaks, to give you guys some examples, apparently the AWS and the LSAT is going to go from 1.5 to 2.4. The Type 88 MG4 and the M249 will go from 1.5 to 2.7. And the heavy hitting LMGs like the PKP and the M240 Bravo will go from 1.5 to 3.0. Now, before you get really angry, I spoke to our DICE dev that handles the weapon balancing and whatnot, and he said this kind of change isn't even going to happen for a long time, and when it does, the nerf shouldn't be as heavy, and of course such a big change will be tested in the correct manner on CTE first so people can provide feedback. Also, the maximum spread increase nerfs will most likely only happen to LMGs as well, which makes sense to me because I can't imagine the spread nerfs to ever happen to assault rifles and the carbines. But going back to the LMGs, the spread nerf is probably going to change how you use LMGs. You're going to have to put a lot more effort into controlling your fire and not spray and pray. You may need to tap fire instead of micro bursting at long range as well. But I guess that really depends on which LMG you're using. Also, just in my opinion, the reason why the spread nerf is most likely coming to the LMGs is because of the argument in Battlefield 4 LMGs are just too strong, which I kind of understand. But what I don't want to see is LMGs becoming almost useless like how they were in Battlefield 3. I think a middle ground between these 2 points is a good spot, but like I said guys, we don't really need to think about this for a while from the sounds of it. I'm sure the nerf will only be some small tweaks and nothing too major. But anyway, let me know what you think of the new Reticle changes. Thanks for watching, make sure to subscribe for future content, and I'll see you in the next video.